All right. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening.
Yeah, depends on when you're watching this, right?
That's right. I'm Kelly.
I'm Brad.
It's
This is
Brad.
Media Chat 3.
Woohoo! Third episode. I feel like it's
I
officially a
know.
success.
I know. We've been picked up for another season for sure.
That's awesome. Have you checked the YouTube channel to see how many times it's been viewed?
Not lately. Like when our last video was viewed 6 times at least,
Oh,
but
okay.
I haven't checked in a
Yeah.
couple days though. So,
I feel like
all
we
right.
need to make sure Lisa gets this on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, I could. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. We need to promote that.
I could do it. I know she doesn't like that, but I could do the like straight from Instagram transfer Facebook.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
Okay, I'll
That
do
works.
that.
Okay,
Makes it
so
easier.
we have a lot to talk about. Well, at least I do. I don't know if you have as long of a list as I do, Brad.
Uh,
But
why don't you go first? I mean, I've watched some stuff too, but go
okay,
ahead.
we can like toggle back and forth.
Sure.
So I finally watched Joker.
Ah,
Had you seen that?
no, I did not
Okay.
watch that.
So it is dark.
Yeah, I've
And
heard.
I mean like 100% dark, no light whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you have to be a fan or able to kind of withstand that level of darkness to enjoy that
Okay.
movie. And I am. I love the darkness. I'm sorry, I love jazz hands. Okay. Uh, so I loved it, and he was so good in it. He won the Oscar for Best Actor,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it was a very, very good movie. It was really good. I
Okay.
did watch it in two chunks because it was intense,
Okay. You
but
needed a break.
yeah, I kind of did need a break. I had to watch like I don't know Golden Girls in between or something to
Golden
get
Girls,
like
nice.
a little levity.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I mean, again, I wouldn't. I feel like it's not a movie I'd really recommend to anyone.
Okay.
But if you are a person who
It's too
likes
dark.
the darkness, yeah, it really is just grim. Um, and it's weird to be entertained by something so dark. So I know that there's some
See
controversy around.
now you're making me want to watch it. Like, because it sounds interesting, like that it was
It
that
is.
dark that you weren't like it's almost like you feel bad about being entertained by it.
Yeah, I think that was some of the controversy around the movie is that it's kind of like I don't want to say gratuitous, but it's kind of entertaining about like someone with a mental illness. So
Okay, yeah.
yeah, it's tricky, but it was it was intense and it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I wasn't sure because it didn't seem like a regular superhero movie.
Yeah, it's definitely not, which is probably why I liked it. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a young
yeah.
Bruce Wayne in it, but there's no superhero activity.
Hmm,
Yeah. I don't
that's
think this was
cool.
like a sanctioned like um
No, I don't think so either.
superhero. Yeah.
Like a Marvel or
Right.
DC.
Right.
My bad.
I couldn't
My bad.
even think
What
of
was I?
what that was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think that was part of
yeah.
that family.
Well, that's okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. But I think it's so
Um,
interesting that Heath Ledger, he played Joker and won the Oscar posthumously for that
mhm.
same role. And so now, and I think that's so
Yes.
interesting. Like they've both won the Oscar for playing that role in really different ways. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I seemed like that was like the darkest Joker beforehand
Right.
was Heath Ledger.
Yeah. And that was
And
dark.
then yeah.
That
Um
darkness is here.
yeah.
And this darkness, it's down here. I can't even show you.
I wonder if part of the darkness of that movie was the fact that like he died. So it's like everybody's
Sure.
watching it knows that he's like I
Gone.
wonder if that added to it.
I'm sure that made it darker. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was such a good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me something you watched.
Well, I talked about it briefly last week. I finished that show Happy with
Right?
Elliot Stabler. I can never remember his
That's the
real name.
character, right? Okay.
Yes, and Patton Oswalt is the cartoon character. It
I
was
love him.
I don't know how it's again. I don't know if I should recommend it because like it got real weird,
Yeah.
real dark. Um, and it's done like they only did 2 seasons, so
Hmm.
um, but it got I'm like oof. Like I was watching the last couple episodes and I was like maybe I should never mention this on air because it's
Ah,
weird.
because it's like now what?
But yeah, so watch at your own risk. But
Yeah, I
I
feel like
liked
that's the
it.
caveat here. Like,
Yeah,
It's good
I
to
mean, it's a dude who kind of has like I don't know if it's much as a mental illness or just like trauma.
know. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you're kind of like, but he also doesn't do much to help the
Yeah.
fact that he is a mental illness. But
Right.
so
And
like if
where's
you're
that?
along the lines of the Joker, like if you're into that, from what you're
You might
describing, I
like
think you'd be
this.
into this show too.
So what channel
Like
or what like platform is
it
that
was
on?
on the Sci-Fi Channel
Okay.
originally.
Okay.
It is now on Hulu.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say for
Yeah.
those of us who don't
So
have cable. Yeah.
I watched. Yes, you can watch it on Hulu. Um, and it's like I said, it's 2 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
short. Like
Yeah.
if you're into
And
that
it's
kind of
animated.
thing, check it out. Well, it's part animated.
That's right. That's right. Just
There's
the
an animated character. There's an imaginary friend
imaginary
played
friend is
by Patton
Patton
Oswalt.
Oswalt. Right. And what's
Yes,
the character is an animal, right?
it's like a you. It's a horse slash unicorn cartoon. It's like a
Okay.
mashup of an
Okay.
animal.
I
It's
think that
like
sounds very intriguing. I would probably
yeah,
watch. Yeah.
and
Okay.
only some people can see him.
Right. That makes
So
for an
it's
interesting plot, I'm
so
sure.
mostly like yeah, the guy's talking to himself a lot,
Yeah.
according to the other people around him, which makes it is kind of the humor in it.
Funny.
You're like,
Sure.
this guy is nuts.
Okay. This is like super different and super off the beaten path, I think.
Okay.
This is a show that Amazon has done. I think it's in its second, maybe it's in its third season.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Four More Shots, Please. And it's an
Oh, never.
Indian Sex in the City.
Oh.
And it's really, I've watched 5 episodes, so I've only gotten that far in. But I dig it. It's not a kid show. It's
Yes.
as Sex in the City was not a kid show. It's very similar. So it's like for women in Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fascinating because I feel like the kind of information I get about India and Mumbai isn't that. And so I feel like that's kind of helpful to kind of balance out, what I see in India,
Yeah.
that people are like, dressing amazingly and wearing, stiletto heels and whatever. You don't
Yeah.
see that from India.
Yeah.
um, and they speak now about half the show is in Marathi, which is the language in Mumbai.
Okay.
So I haven't figured out how to turn on like the Amazon subtitles.
So it's dubbed.
So it's not dubbed, no. So I'm just
Oh, okay.
missing half of the conversation.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I need to get on that, but I'm still
What
watching it.
do
Yeah.
you? Oh, okay. Well, it must be good if you're so.
Yeah.
Do you kind of understand where it's
Yeah, you can
going?
kind of pick it up from like the
Yeah.
context, but
Okay.
I feel like they're saying some like snappy things and I want to know what they're
Yeah.
saying. So I got to get
Snappy
on that.
things.
But even without the subtitles,
So sometimes it's in
yeah, they speak in
English.
English and Marathi.
Oh,
I
okay.
was going to say it was like a third, but it might be a good half. There are
Hmm.
some scenes that feel like they're entirely in another language.
I don't. What platform do you watch your?
That is on Amazon.
No, but I mean, like,
Oh, I use Apple TV.
okay, if you go to settings, you can
Yes.
change. Yeah, okay.
I
You
thought it was something through Apple, but you're right. I have put on the subtitles through Apple TV. So yeah, you're right. That's the trick.
yeah,
So
that's how
that's
it
a
works for
it's a
me.
different show. And I feel like it's not like a mainstream show that a lot of people would watch,
Mm.
but it's really fun. And again, like I feel like that's a representation from India that I've never seen. So I feel like that feels like important somehow.
Okay,
All right.
that's that sounds pretty interesting. Like,
Yeah. I
kind
don't
of
think
like
it's your
So
your
is it purposely based on Sex
It's
and the
not
City?
based on it. It's just that's like the best way to describe it. It's
Oh,
four
okay.
women, like one woman's a lesbian, the rest are, I think two of them are married, one is single, and it's just
Hmm.
like they're kind of living the high life.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
it's different. And I read some articles about it, and apparently it's like the most watched Amazon Prime show in India.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty popular over there. So,
There really is so much on Amazon Prime. If you just like search around, you can
that's
find some
true.
like interesting stuff.
Yeah, they have some good old movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for you? I still have
Uh,
like 6 more,
okay, cool.
but we,
I haven't watched as much this week, but well, I mean new. I
yeah,
watched a lot of Law and Order this week, which is kind of just like background music for me.
I think a
You know
lot
what I
of
mean?
people really love that show. So,
Um, it's like it's hard to describe for me. I like it, but it's just like I don't know. It's something to like. there's so many episodes that you can just
Yeah.
kind of like half watch it
Yeah.
and like get the gist. I
And
don't
it's
know.
pretty formulaic, so you don't have to follow like really closely.
Yeah, it's usually like if there's a really like noticeable actor guest star that's like they're usually involved in the crime somehow.
Of course.
Yep, because they're going to be on the screen the most. I've been watching this. It's like a documentary. It's series. It's called Drive to Survive. It's about race
Ooh.
car drivers
Okay.
in Europe. I don't know how I started watching it. It was just there as a recommendation,
hmm
and
Drive to Survive.
it's pretty interesting. It's
What's
in
on? What's
Europe.
that on?
Oh, it's on Netflix. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
I didn't think like I was like I'll watch this because I was bored, and I ended up like watching a couple of them. I'm almost through the first season, but it's just
So it drug you in.
yeah. I guess I don't really watch it on TV, so I don't know. But
hmm
basically, like there's two like giant teams, Ferrari and Mercedes, that basically like win everything, and it's
hmm
just like the other guys. So it's all about the other guys that are just like trying to keep their job,
Like the
just like they gotta
underdogs.
finish. Yeah. So it's like
Okay.
and I don't know, it's like but it's like a whole team effort because
hmm
they gotta like dudes will like change the tires and if they screw up, like it slows them down and like
hmm
or if mechanically and it was kind of interesting. And
Yep.
it's like but the coolest part is like the footage. Like they just show them like flying around the track. It's
Sure.
kind of exciting.
That
And
does
there's
sound
like
like a good
crashes
show.
and
Like
stuff.
if you're into like race cars and it's like a
And
behind the scenes.
yeah, I'm like I said, I mean, maybe if you were like into that, like a fan, you'd be like, this
hmm
is dumb. I know all this. But to me, I'm just like, oh, this is interesting. I didn't know how it
Right, because you
worked.
don't know the back end of.
But it's like the money that they spend on these cars is like unbelievable.
Wow.
And it's like, I mean, I just can't even imagine where
Yeah.
this, but it's like there's so many people that work for them, but just, I don't know. And
Yeah.
then they just like crash the car. And it's just
And then
like,
it's
yep,
done.
it's like
I
$10
have to.
million down the drain. We got to build a new
Yeah.
one.
Oh well.
And I was just like,
I have to say, like sometimes I do like watching reality shows about something I don't like
me
already
too.
have an interest in,
Yeah.
because then you're like, oh my gosh, there's this whole world of this out there and fans and this
Yeah.
whole thing, and you just know nothing about it. It's kind of
Well, like
interesting.
Formula One, I guess, is the top racing in the world. So
hmm
it's like these guys are like the best of the best, but it's like they still get like have to put up with like their boss yelling at them. They're
Sure.
like
So they
not
still
winning
have like
enough. And I'm just
workplace.
like, so to me, I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Like if you're this cool racing driver, there's still like some dude yelling at you.
Telling you to get
Cause
to
like, yeah. And it's like this one guy's like leaving this one team because he doesn't feel like he's respected enough and like
oh
all this.
my.
And then like the boss is like kind of like he leaves and then he's like trying to say nice things, but it's like the two bosses from the teams, they don't like each other.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is just like drama like everywhere else. It's like,
Right.
even though you're a race car driver, you still have to like work with
No
these
one's above it.
people.
There's still
Yeah.
like water cooler
Yeah.
rumors and chatting and
And it still like rolls downhill, as they say. Like that guy's getting yelled at by like the dude from Ferrari. So then he's
Mhm.
yelling at the driver because they're not
Yeah.
winning enough. It's like, man, that's depressing.
Well, that
So I was
also
like, oh, it must
sounds.
be awesome to be a race car driver.
Nope.
But no,
Same.
it's not.
It sounds like that's kind of off the beaten path a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you like cars and fast things, I'd check it out.
And I would recommend, even if you don't. Sometimes it's like I
Yeah.
watched that. I would think there was just one season of that like glass blowing reality
hmm
show. I had no previous interest in glass blowing, but I watched the whole thing. It was an interesting
Yeah.
thing. So sometimes
That's
that happens.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting. And it's like it's European, so
Mhm.
you could get like an insight in how
Yeah.
things work
Yeah.
over there because there's like no Americans at this point
Interesting.
involved
Okay.
in it.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
these are all just like Spanish and like Australian are the main guys that they
Yeah.
talk to.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of shows on Netflix to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so other than that, it's just been things that we've talked about already for me. So if you want to go, I mean,
Well, yeah, so how about I'll talk about two movies together.
okay.
One's old, one's new. So I watched 1917. Everyone knows that.
I want to watch that. That's
Yeah, so I wasn't intending to because it was kind of like, okay, a war movie. I'm not a huge fan of war movies, and
yeah.
I know many of them are really good and whatever, but one of our coworkers, Bobby, actually
hmm
said she felt very similarly, and then she watched this with her husband and loved it, and she said you really should watch it. So I was like, okay, give it a shot, and it was stunning.
Okay.
It was very, very good, and it felt more like a journey movie than a war movie. I mean, it is a war movie, no doubt,
Yeah.
but it really is this journey that they're taking, and it
Hmm.
was really moving and gripping and beautifully shot. I actually
Okay.
researched how the movie was shot because it was so beautiful and well done. So I watched some YouTube, um, like interviews and
Okay.
stuff. So it was interesting. Okay, so obviously that's an Oscar-nominated movie, so that's
Yeah,
saying
and
something.
ever since I've seen the previews of that movie, it looked good to me. Like it
Yeah,
looked
it really
so
was. I
okay.
watched it a second time the next day because I just
Oh,
felt like I missed a lot of details, and it was yeah.
okay. Well, I'll add that to my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Moon. Do you know that? It's an older movie with Sam Rockwell. Um, it's from, I want to say like 2011. It was like pretty, I mean, 9 years ago or so, but um there's like, it's in the future and we have lots of solar powered energy, and so there has to be a station on the moon to like convert it or something. I
Right.
don't know
And
the
he's
science.
stuck there.
And
I know
he's
which
there
movie you're talking
alone.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of starts going a little, you know,
Yeah.
it was really good. It has a twist that I didn't see coming, and
Oh,
I
okay.
love Sam Rockwell, so
Yes.
it was good.
I do. Yeah, we've talked about him too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's so
I
good.
do really like him.
I think I talked about Mr. Right last time, and he was in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why I was like
I'm
thinking
on
of
like
that.
a Sam Rockwell
Is
kick.
that yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then I think I talked about this last time, but not really. The George W. Bush documentary. Did I
Yes, you
mention that?
think you mentioned it. Yeah.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
watched that. It was 4 hours on PBS by
Wow.
American Experience, which is they do such good documentaries.
Yeah, that is good.
And I know it's like super nerdy, but it was so good. I learned a lot about him, and it was a really well done documentary. So I highly recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Um,
that's just on QED
yeah, that's just on
or
QED, and I have the
on
PBS app.
demand? Ah,
It's
yeah,
probably, yeah, there's probably
free.
all kinds of ways to get it, but you might even be able to watch it online.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's just on the app. Now I know they have that passport thing where you have to be a member,
Oh,
and
right.
at some point it'll probably move into that so that you can't watch it unless you're part of that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's new then?
Yes, it's new. It just, I
I'll have
think
to
like
check that out.
a
Seems
week
pretty
or two
interesting.
ago came out. Yeah. And then I just have two books.
Okay.
But do you have any? I mean, I feel like I'm taking.
I did get some new records this week.
Okay.
They're
Let's
both
talk music.
I got there's this I don't know if
And you mean
anybody's
LPs,
yes, LPs.
records. Okay. Yeah.
Um
Case.
there's this site called Discogs. It's an app and people sell records on there
Okay.
and you can buy records on there
So
and you can
used.
sell your own. It's kind of like an eBay. Well, some are new, some are used. It just
Okay.
depends.
So it's an
Um,
eBay of records.
and it's kind of overwhelming at first because there's so much stuff on there and there's
Mm-hmm.
all these like little abbreviations like near mint, mint condition. Like I don't really care. I just like listening to records.
Yeah.
So I just try to find like, and you can have a wish list and they'll pop up
That
when
it's like
they're for sale.
available.
So there's this Matthew Sweet record, 100% Fun. It's from 1995.
Okay.
And I always I like that album a lot. So I was like, oh, I think it's used, but it's in like really good condition. So it was
Yeah.
like, I ordered that. And then this other, it's kind of like a demo thing. There's, it's a 2 LP set by this, he's a newer artist. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like him. His name's Cooper-Siegel.
Okay.
He's one of those guys. He's kind of like a DIY guy. So he does he's releasing music all the time.
Okay.
I think he releases at least one album a year, at least one, sometimes two.
Mm-hmm.
And he has like all these different bands. So it's really hard to and it's like anybody, like I kind of like musicians like that. Like Neil
Yeah.
Young's a really good example. And
Oh,
sometimes it's a crash and burn because you don't know where it's going.
yeah.
But this is like sort of a retrospective of his career since like 2007 with like a bunch of like cool stuff on it. So
Mm-hmm.
like it had just come out and I was thinking of buying it when it was coming out. And then for some reason I didn't.
You
So I
didn't.
found it on here and bought that. So actually I bought it from Bandcamp when they were on Bandcamp, which is another app of like bands can join. And they had a whole day where all the money went to the artists.
Oh,
So
that's
like,
nice.
yeah. So I bought
Yeah.
that day.
So
and
you listen
another,
to
yeah.
records on your record player.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all the time. I mean, I listen on my phone too, like
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
else.
That's fun.
But
I've wanted to get a record player for quite a while, so I need to get on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
They're not
can.
like super expensive, but
No, you can find pretty cheap ones.
yeah.
Mine is like I don't know. Like, I mean, there's prices all over the place.
Definitely would like a Bluetooth one because I feel like those are the speakers
Yeah.
we have. So yeah.
The one that we have at the library in Library of Things that
That's
you can
right.
when we're open again.
When we're open again. When will that be?
That's a really good quality one.
Yeah.
And it's
I
only
took it home
like
over Christmas and I loved it.
it's like maybe under $150, like
That's not
129,
too bad.
which is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. It's
So
not too
if you want
bad.
a Bluetooth one, I would recommend that.
That's the one. And I already have used it, so there we
Yeah.
go. So the two books that I want to toss out, I just finished Solitary. It was a dark week. I read and watched a lot of dark stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't depressed. I just happened to. So I read the book.
Happens.
Yeah, I read the book Solitary.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbroken by 4 decades in solitary confinement. His name's Albert Woodfox. I don't know if you've heard of that book,
I think
but
so, yeah.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
in solitary confinement for 40 years. And
It's like straight?
yep,
Ouch. That's insanity.
it is insanity. And it was in many ways, it was kind of an expose about the prison system. And of course,
Okay.
like, systemic racism. And it was a rough
Yeah.
book, but important. And I was glad I read it. And then I watched a bunch of interviews with him. He's been, in the last few years making the rounds of shows. And so it was
So
good to
he's
see
out
him.
now, right?
Yeah, he's out now. And it was like, I think originally he was in jail for car theft or
Oh, so
I think it was unauthorized car use. It wasn't really a theft, but
for 40 years.
yeah, that's kind of why it's fascinating.
Wow. That's like not really, I mean, on the scheme of things, a very like deserving sentence.
No, not really. No, and that's
No.
rough. But anyway, and then I started. Do you remember that crazy? Well, it was the book, and then it was this really weird movie in the '70s, The Andromeda Strain.
Yes. Yeah, you read that? That's cool.
Well, it's a great movie, and I watched.
The movie
that
is great, and the
yeah.
book's good too. Like,
yeah. Well, he and another writer just released a sequel called The Andromeda Evolution.
yes, I saw
And it's
that.
so good. I'm halfway through it. It's so good.
Really?
Yeah.
I was skeptical. I was like, it's a long time in coming. Like, is it gonna be?
Is it gonna be good?
Yeah. So you're reading about plagues.
Right. Kind of, yeah, but it's like it's a really different plague, so it felt like it was okay to read about that.
Yeah.
One. Yeah.
Comes from like outer space, right?
Yes.
Not to give
so
it
there's
away.
there's like an alien component. I think that was implied in the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's all I need to like lighten up this week in my media consumption. So
I agree. I don't know. I did have a plan to rewatch the entire American series that I really liked.
You mentioned that.
Yeah.
I have never watched that show.
I recommend that to everyone. I thought it was great.
People love that show.
Despite what you think it's about, it's not necessarily about that. So.
Okay, well that's.
But it does get dark. But
yeah.
But then it's also like, I mean, it's set in the 80s, but it's also kind of shot like an 80s show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember
how like I've been watching Magnum PI, so.
Yeah, but you remember how like back in the day, like when it was dark, like it would be very grainy, like the picture. Like it's all set like that. Like everything's like
authentic.
Correct. Like I want to know, like there's so many cars in the movie. Like I want to know where they get like all these old cars. Like they wear these like crazy disguises, but it's not cheesy. It's like it's weird. I don't know. It's a show that I think if you like Killing Eve, you would like this show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I probably need to get on that because I think it's on. Is it on Hulu? It's on.
It's on. I think you can watch it on Netflix.
It might be. Yeah. You have all those platforms. You don't remember which one is which.
Yeah. And Yeah, it was one
We
of the
missed
shows that
Dark
was like
Knight.
good all the way through too. Like even the ending,
Mm-hmm.
I thought was
It's good.
like well done. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, next week we are going to have a guest star.
Yes,
Our infamous and
DZ.
lovely bookkeeper Nina, is going to join us.
Yeah,
Tell us about some of the things she's been watching and reading, because they're very different than what we watch and read.
yeah.
And we're hoping her young daughter, who's 7, will have a little cameo to tell us about something she's been watching or reading. So
Ah,
it'll be quite an interesting episode next week. So join us.
that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
I wonder if she'll talk about The Masked Singer. I've
I
watched some of
wonder. I
that.
mean, she watches some different stuff than I do, and so it'll
I
be
know she
fun.
watches that.
Yeah.
There were some shocking developments
Oh my.
last some weeks.
Oh boy. All right. Well, take care, everyone, and we will see you
Next week.
next week. Bye.
Bye.